Okay.
How can I help you?
My registration expires today,
Okay.
and I need new paper tag,
Who
I
was your
guess.
salesperson?
Andrea.
Andrew? Yeah. He's gonna help you out.
Okay. How you doing? How you doing?
Good.
My registration expires today, and the
The 10th,
tag. Yeah.
you had a hard plate to transfer,
No, you guys supposed to be mailing me a tag.
so you would need to see Alexis. Today? Have you been here for a month already?
Yeah. It's been a month. He's here today.
Alexis?
Yeah.
He called you, right?
He called me. He tried to say that we discussed the finances, but we never like discussed the finances. You know that piece of paper you walled up, the packet, you filled me with the information up you gave to me at the end of the night. Like we never looked through it. Remember I was asking you how did the car go from 9,000 to 12,000?
That's not that paper.
No, I'm not talking about that paper. The other paper.
No, you asked me about the Mirage.
And then we went to the Honda.
You didn't ask me that about the Honda. When we were outside looking at vehicles, I was telling you that when the bank charges fees, that fees then come to the vehicle. And in order for us to sell your vehicle, it raises up the price of the car. When we got to the Honda, we never discussed the actual pricing of the Honda. I remember the pricing of the Mirage because that one was at 3 something and then it went to 5 something and then the out the door was something different, right?
Yeah, that's the same thing happened. The Honda was 9,000, then
Right, but we
it
didn't
went to
discuss
12.
that one. I didn't pay attention to what the price was to what it was sold at. But we definitely did have that discussion. Hey, how you doing, sir? How are you? And Dean is
My spouse.
your spouse? Okay, nice to meet you. But yeah, no, not on that one. But yeah, generally speaking, if the bank sees as arrests, they do charge a fee, and that fee, in order for you to purchase it, it will go. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, but that's not going to do the same thing though, and it's not as powerful. Give me a second. I gotta call you back so we don't have a customer. All right. Yeah. So that's how, generally speaking, that's how that works. Okay. So if they're charging us a fee, it's going to move the price of the vehicle in order for us to sell it to absorb the fee.
So that's how the Mirage went from 3,000 to almost 6,000, and the Honda went from 9,000 to almost 12,000.
Well, again, I don't know. Well, currently, because I don't know what the price. I know what the price was of the Honda. I didn't know what the price was that was on the paper because we did the.
They don't have a,
I know online it was,
so they don't have a contract. I mean, was it agreed upon? They don't
Yeah,
have
she
that?
she has a contract.
You have a blue?
hold
has
on,
a
it's in the car.
Did you see it?
Can you go get out of the car?
I don't know what it is.
It's a big packet of paper, the one big packet of paper. Because online it was listed as 89.88. And then like when you brought the papers, you know what I mean, it said 12,000 and some change. And I was under the impression like that was, like you said, like the
Same
bank
thing.
fees, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But when I got the paper from credit acceptance, it says 23,000.
Okay, so those are two different things. So I didn't pay attention to what the price set out here because I'm more concentrated what for you, for any customer, of what they're going to pay monthly. And if it's a comfortable payment for them. That's what I focus on. I don't usually focus on the ones that are here. You brought the Mirage to my attention and say, hey, why are we here? So then I had to get an explanation for you as to, okay, well, why is it moved from here to there? So now you're asking now, from the price that was on that paper, then why is it something else from credit acceptance? Those are two different things. So unless you're at a 0% interest rate, it's not ever going to be what is on the bottom there.
So why didn't he like? I'm not sure who was supposed to discuss it. Like, why didn't he like tell me like it was going to be a 10,000% interest rate?
A what?
It's a 10,000% interest rate.
10,000?
I mean, it's a 10,000. It's $10,000 in interest rate.
Okay, so I don't know what happens. I don't know your interest rate or yours. Or
I mean, I didn't know it until I got the paper from credit acceptance. I got this paper from credit acceptance. So when I got this, it made me go look at the paper that you folded up. And then I got this.
that I folded up.
Yeah, you folded this up at the, like after I had got the car, we brought the car over there, we was looking at it.
So let me explain something to you. This is a finance document. I don't do anything with finance.
So who's the person that's I was supposed to discuss this with?
Finance. When you went back there to finance,
He never talked to me about this. Only paper that I saw was the paper that you originally brought me.
that's the only paper that I deal with.
That's the only paper that I ever saw.
So for any customer or any representative in here that sits out here, we're not going to know your interest rate. We're not going to know, and to explain to you about the next number from what you saw on the paper that I presented to you to what is on this paper. Unless you're at 0% interest rate, unless you're at 0%, those two are going to match up.
This is what I'm saying.
So-
Who would I have discussed this paper with? Because you brought me this paper. No, you brought me this paper at the end of the night, folded up in an envelope and handed it to me.
Okay. You can tell that to anybody here, and they're going to ask, well, how was she able to print it? I don't have no way of printing this.
I understand that. This is just, no. This is when I bought the car. You brought me this. I got this from you.
No.
No, positive.
If you think that you're positive that you got it from me, I've never given a customer finance documents.
That's why I was so like crazy because I never paid attention to the paper. You folded it up, you sat there, I was standing over there, and you folded it up, put it in the envelope.
I have no way of printing
brought it-
finance
You
documents.
brought it from back there.
I don't go back there to get finance documents.
See those? Yeah, I got.
Not
Trust me.
for you
I got the
or
right
any customer.
I got this. So like, that's what I'm confused about. So I didn't even know. I didn't even know I had 22% interest rate. It's going to be a 10,000. I didn't even know that until I got this.
Okay, so what happens when you go back there? They print a bunch of Florida papers.
Who?
Okay, the finance person, whomever the finance person is. So I'm just going to tell you, generally speaking, what happens. What we do out here, we go over and see as far as your payment. You know where you are, where you want to be, what you're comfortable doing. But as far as any rep out here, they can't generate any type of finance documents. In order to do your lawful paperwork through finance, to your legal paperwork, it has to go through finance manager.
But I signed this with you. The electronic paper that you brought, like.
Okay, I'm not a finance person.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like I never spoke when I spoke to your finance person.
You have anybody here
He
has
only showed one piece of paper, and that was when I gave him my $1,000 for the deposit. Like this, I never saw. You know what I mean?
Okay, and I'm
Like,
not sure why you
I
never.
never saw this until I got this. And was like, how the hell this 23,000? And he's like, did you sign the documents? I'm like, when I signed the document, these numbers weren't on here. Because literally, big as they on the first page, like, you can see it.
Yeah. It won't be. There's nothing that I have on here that can generate that. And the process is when you finish here, you go from sales, you go to finance.
But I never went to finance. Only time I went over there, it was remember the process was already done. You showed me those numbers, and I just went over there to get him the money.
So you didn't sign any paperwork?
No, only time I signed was with you on your keypad. Like I never seen this.
On what keypad?
The You brought me to a digital sign.
I don't have a keypad.
Well, keypad, I don't know if it's a computer, but like that's the only time like I was sitting here when I signed the electronic.
But I'm trying to tell you, I don't have any of that capability.
Yeah, son,
But
sure you got the right person, man. I'm asking. You was here?
No, she was here. She
I'm
was
just
here.
asking a question.
I
Why
am
you
her
looking at me like that?
salesperson, but I think
Trust
she's
me.
just a little confused as to.
no, I'm not confused. I never saw this
I know, but you keep saying that I'm the one who gave it to you. I
because
signed
you
a
did
keypad.
give it to me. You brought it to me. You folded it up like I never did even look at it. You folded it up. You put it in an envelope. You handed it to me.
And you signed with me as well.
Only time I went in there with the guy was to give him the money.
Okay.
Like I never saw this at all.
If that's
Me and him never like sat down and was like, okay, Ms. Blue, like it's gonna be a 22% interest rate. This is gonna equal up to be, you know what I mean? This is gonna be the price of the like, no.
I can't. You have. That's what you're saying. That's your recollection of what happened. I can only tell you that that was not. But I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna convince you because that's your recollection of what happened.
So you saying your agreement was the car was 12,000?
No, the car was listed at 9,000. And next thing you know, when
So
she brought me the paper, she brought me a paper like she did with the Mirage. Cause I'm like, if I gotta pay an extra almost $3,000,
She did
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I might as well get me a
So it
car that
was.
got less miles. You feel me? So I was on their website, you feel me? And I'm looking at, you feel me, the Honda, and I looked at
How's
Chrysler.
up to 23,000?
Hold on. So I went and I
what I'm
looked
trying
at
to
that,
tell her.
and I found, hold on. Then I found the Honda listed at $9,000. You feel me? And then she brought the paper back. It said 12,000 change. She said that's the fee that the bank charged. You feel me? Like, so I'm like, okay, well, the car gonna be 9,000. The bank charging the extra three. You give me the chance for taking out the loan. Remember? He was like, that's the chance that they taking. You feel me? For giving the loan. And then dealership fees was like almost like $1,700 or something like that. You feel me? And then it came out to be $1,488. Well, 14,4, 88, 30, whatever it equals out. But like anybody saying like, okay, well, it's gonna be a finance charge of, you know what I'm saying, 10,000. Like I never discussed this with anybody because in my eyes, like, how does a car go from 9,000 to $24,879?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you, but I'm going to put you with your finance manager because these are his documents for him to explain. But generally speaking, okay, if you're going to purchase anything, or let's just stick with the car, purchase the vehicle, and you have a certain amount that they tell you, okay, this is the out-the-door price of the car, which is what you saw at the bottom, the 14 and change. Unless you're at 0% interest rate, that is what you're going to be paying. So if you do have an interest rate, then you have to pay finance charges, which is what your vehicle is financed.
So why don't
Okay.
explain that when
So
you,
don't
when
you
buy the
think
car?
like
Huh?
Why they don't explain that when you buy the car?
I got this at the
Because I'm
Arizona
sure she
night?
know it was $23,000. She
No.
would have did it.
Right.
I didn't
She's
know.
saying that it wasn't explained to her.
No, because the car was 9,000.
so-
You told me that the bank charge.
Listen,
You feel me?
listen
That
to
was
me.
the difference of the 9,000 to the
My thing
12,000.
is, if it wasn't explained to her, why is she getting charged?
It has the word charge
I
on
mean,
there.
if she say make a payment, it's $23,000.
She has the
Still,
what?
how was she supposed to pay her money?
Okay, so this amount here is directly related to an interest rate.
So how can we talk to the man right now?
I'm gonna go and see if he's available right now.
Okay.
Because you still need to get your
Tag, registration.
yeah. So hold on to this.
It sound like y'all just ripping people off for that. Man. I don't get that.
No, that is
I mean,
standard.
that's self-explanatory. How y'all gonna say somebody something and say it's this price, but now all of a sudden it changed to this, and this is the payment you have to make. So that's like paying the whole car. The payment is $23,000, right?
Right, for a $9,000 car.
For a
That is-
$9,000 car, right? So you say you're gonna purchase the payment, it's a the balance you have to pay is $23,000. So that means you paying the whole car. How is that?
And so the whole nother
That's what
cost.
you mean.
What do you mean paying the whole
She tried to
car?
make a payment. They said the payment is $23,000 payment.
No, that's
Yes,
not.
it did.
That's not your payment. That is your.
It says my balance. That's what I'm not understanding. How do
That's
you
not
go
what
from
she's saying.
When she tried to
How do
make
you
a
go
payment,
from
it
a
said that.
how do you go from a $9,000 car to
No, they're not. They're not making her pay that. Right. She's making monthly payment.
But whether it's
I understand.
whether
I'm
she
making
paying
monthly
it or not,
payments.
but how it jumped that high?
and
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, she has a high
It went from
interest rate.
9 to 14.
but that's what so the bank charges interest and a fee.
Well, your interest rate is your interest rate. Or let me just talk in general because anybody's interest rate is directly related to credit.
I
Credit and
understand
interest
that.
rate goes
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
I
we know
understand
that.
how like the interest, you know what I'm saying? I understand that. So like how did the car go from 9 to 12?
That's what I'm trying to figure
Like
out.
what was that fee?
Okay, that you're gonna have to get with him for.
Well, could you get a text with the man, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and see if he's available to
Yes,
speak.
please. And
This is yours too?
Yeah.
this is your part.
No, goodness well. Goodness well. Be sitting here looking at $10,000 interest, that's more than the car.
Oh, shit.
And I can't believe she said like she don't remember bringing me this thing.
I remember you saying that, but then you were good people.
Huh?
I thought about this, you gonna say, oh, I remember you saying that, then you was the one. You keep talking about you ain't the one.
Like
But you
she
remember
gave me this.
And that's the day you came in and get the car, so how you doing?
Oh, but she gave me this at the end of the night. At the end of the night before I left, she folded this up at her desk. You hear me? She folded this. She folded this up.
To get to you.
She folded this up, put it in the envelope, and gave it to me. And I'm under the impression that these the same numbers that was on the paper she originally showed.
Somebody about me to come and get other people. She handed it off to you. She thought she don't do it in front of people. How?
How when she the only person I discuss numbers with?
I already seen the line. They ain't remember calling out of man. They ain't gave no money. How you think that we control them?
Yeah, that's crazy. 2013. cut their lights off. She better not trying to put him on game.